Good evening and thank you for joining us tonight for KREM 2 News 10 at 10, where we give you more news in less time. I'm Cody Proctor. Let's get started tonight by taking a look at our forecast. Talk about a climb. After last weekend's brutally cold temperatures, we're expecting a round of warmer temps this time. Meteorologist Michelle Boss joining us in the Weather Center tonight. What a week it's been.
Yes, 32 degrees has never sounded so warm, and that's kind of where we're hoping to get to this weekend, maybe even a couple degrees warmer, and that will alleviate some of our issues with some icy roads out there. Right now, temperatures are still pretty chilly, and we did have a little freezing rain today. Right now, still in the 20s across much of the inland northwest, but this is about as cold as it's going to get. Temperatures should be holding steady or maybe even climbing a couple degrees overnight. As far as any chill in the wind, wind speeds have definitely come down. Still a little bit breezy out in North Idaho, but other than that, wind chill not really a factor. We're still seeing some very, very light precipitation across the region, and through tomorrow afternoon with temperatures still below freezing, there's a chance to get a little bit of ice, so just watch out for that. But precipitation should be very light, and by the time it starts to get heavier, temperatures are going to be warming up. But we will be below freezing throughout the overnight hours and through tomorrow, probably early afternoon. But we are looking to climb to around 34 by late tomorrow afternoon, and by Sunday should just be mainly rain out there with a low of 32 and highs in the upper 30s.
Michelle, thanks so much. Let's go now to Night Beat for a quick look at the day's top stories. People living in Ritzville woke up this morning to both icy roads and branches. That's because freezing rain fell steadily on the town between 6 to 8 this morning. That rain, plus the snow that we already received this weekend, but that was on the ground, made enough of an impact to cancel class for the Lind-Ritzville School District. The superintendent says was the right decision since many of their students live where plows don't go, out on the back roads in the area. School was open yesterday, but Superintendent Don Vanderholm didn't want to take any risks.
The highway between our two, 395 that runs between our two districts was really slick this morning. We wouldn't have, and we have students drive that and buses as well, so that wouldn't have been a good option either.
Now, fortunately, the freezing rain didn't last long this morning. By late in the morning, most of the ice on the roads melted off. The superintendent says school will go back to normal on Monday. Thanks to this week's snow, the city of Spokane launched a full city plow, and here is a look at the progress. This is the online plow map. You can see the areas that have been cleared, as well as the spots they're currently working on or plan to move on to next. Now, the city of Spokane says as of this morning, more than half of all residential streets are cleared or are being worked on. As for neighborhoods yet to be plowed, like Brown's Addition, the wait is almost over. City plows are expected to come through starting tomorrow morning. The roads in Brown's Addition are still snow covered, but many residents that we spoke to say they're used to waiting a bit longer for crews to reach them.
Obviously, living in a neighborhood like this, the roads can get pretty messy pretty quickly, so that can be challenging.
Hurston Davis with the city says crews have more than 50 pieces of equipment out clearing 2,200 lane miles, and this all cities plow. And new tonight, 49 Degrees North Ski Resort announced it'll be back open tomorrow after a major power outage forced the resort to close for the day. According to the resort's Facebook page, the Vista crews managed to restore the power tonight. And that was your Night Beat. To learn more about any of these stories, head to our website, krem.com. New at 10, we're following up on a mystery that we have had a close eye on, the mystery of the missing leg. Now, you may remember the leg went missing from a bronze sculpture outside the Spokane Arena. KREM 2's Kyle Simchuk reports for us the latest tonight.
Well, mystery sort of solved here, Cody. We still don't know who took that bronze leg or why, but this week it did show up in Riverfront Park. The Public Facilities District says maintenance crews in the park found the bronze leg Wednesday, exactly 1 week after it disappeared outside here at the Spokane Arena. Now, the Public Facilities District, which operates the arena, made calls to local scrapyards, telling them to be on the lookout for this piece. Karen Mobley is a local artist and art consultant who knows a lot about this piece, which is called Leap. Mobley actually predicted the leg might show up in a park. Listen to what she said during our interview a week ago.
We want the community to be on alert that this leg might show up somewhere after it's been taken. You know, it might show up in a park, or somebody might decide they want to get rid of it, and so it shows up in some unusual place and somebody might not know what it is.
Now, thankfully, staff at Riverfront Park knew where this piece belongs. They returned it to the Spokane Arena. Right now, it's unclear how soon it could be attached and how much that will cost. Reporting in Spokane tonight, Kyle Simchuk, KREM 2 News.
Kyle, thank you so much. In the meantime, also new tonight, travelers who use the Keller Ferry on the Columbia River near Wilbur should continue to find alternative routes. WashDOT says the ferry's still out of service tonight. The problem started last week after officials say the ferry experienced an electrical problem causing transmission issues while on the water. During repairs, technicians found another electrical breaker system failed, and the ferry had several frozen pipes connected to its generators. WashDOT says the ferry will stay out of service until repairs can be made and the Coast Guard clears the ferry. Right now, there's no estimated date for when the ferry will be back up and running. We've been reporting on frozen pipes for the past week, and even with rising temperatures expected, some parts of Kootenai County are still feeling the freeze. According to our news partners at the Coeur d'Alene Press, the Kootenai County Fire and Rescue teams responded to about 110 weather-related calls from between last Friday to yesterday afternoon. Deputy Chief Pete Hawley says these calls specifically address bursting water pipes and fire alarms triggered by the cold. Several places, including the Post Falls Library and the Athol Library, ended up closing due to the water damage. And because of this bitter cold, new tonight, KREM 2 reached out to the city of Spokane to find out how many people the city has seen impacted by exposure to the cold weather. According to the city, dating back to October, there's been about 70 responses countywide. In Spokane specifically, the Spokane Fire Department responded to around 50. Happening this weekend, stamp prices will rise yet again. Starting Sunday, the cost of the first-class Forever stamps jumps from 66 to 68 cents. The latest price comes after Forever stamps increased twice last year. Last January, stamps climbed from 60 to 63 cents and then moved from 63 to 66 in July. According to USPS, the reasoning for the increase is inflation and a, quote, previously defective pricing model. A judge ordered North Idaho College to allow its president, Nick Swain, to see an investigative report that's been at the center of debate among the Board of Trustees. According to our news partners at the Coeur d'Alene Press, the judge said the report's a public record and not exempt from disclosure to Swain. NIC trustees were expected to take action on the report's contents last night, but the meeting was canceled due to weather. The report has not yet been made public at this time. For more information on the report, go to our website, krem.com. Well, a heads up for Vista customers in Washington. You could see your rates go up at the end of this year. Vista presented a plan to the Washington Utilities and Transportation Commission. If approved, it would increase the average electric bill by $13 a month and a natural gas bill by more than $6 a month. Vista says the plans to help cover operating and maintenance costs in eastern Washington. The rate increase still needs state approval.
We need your help. So we're too little and the problem is too big, and we need the state of Washington to help us.
The Medical Lake mayor appeals for help in Olympia as the city still works to recover nearly 5 months after the devastating Gray Fire. Medical Lake's now looking to the state of Washington to help rebuild after the August wildfire. Mayor Terry Cooper was in Olympia this week advocating for a bill that would provide long-term recovery assistance for communities torn apart by natural disasters like wildfires. In August, the Gray Fire destroyed more than 100 homes in Medical Lake. Many of those families are still displaced. Washington House Bill 1952 would provide cities with state funding to help with the long-term recovery process. Cooper says the biggest financial burden facing families is from the cleanup.
We have a 3-story house that burned and there's just this pile of debris. They required asbestos testing. There was no funding for any of it.
If the bill passes, it would require the military department to create a program to help communities and families who lost everything. In national headlines now, today a grand jury indicted actor Alec Baldwin on an involuntary manslaughter charge. That charge comes in connection with a fatal 2021 Rust movie set shooting. Special prosecutors in New Mexico brought the case this week. The grand jury was presented with new evidence leading to the indictment. One woman died when, during a rehearsal set, Baldwin pointed a gun at the camera and pulled the trigger. A cinematographer was killed and the director was hurt. This is the second time Baldwin's been charged for the shooting. If convicted, he could face up to 18 months in prison. And that's your KREM 2 News 10 to 10, where you get more news in less